Have you ever heard the saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know? In the world of sterile processing, it's both. Could you imagine walking into a room where opportunities are just waiting for you, but the only way to unlock those opportunities is through the connections that you build? So whether you're an employee looking to advance or you're a student just trying to find your foot in the door, or an extern hoping to land your first job, networking can be the key to your next big move. So how do you know it effectively? Stay tuned with me because today we're breaking down the power of networking in sterile processing and how you can use it to level up your career. Welcome back to Sterilization Station, the podcast that empowers and inspires sterile processing professionals at all levels. I'm your host, Bill Rishell, and today we are continuing our Mentor mini-series with a focus on the letter N. That is networking. Networking is a game changer in sterile processing, so whether you're an employee looking to grow, a student preparing to enter the field, or an extern building real-world experience, let's break it down and talk about 3 essential networking strategies for each stage of your journey. Number 1, networking as an employee. As a sterile processing technician, as you're aware, networking isn't just about making friends. It's about building those professional relationships that are going to lead to career advancements, mentorships, and industry knowledge. One example is attending industry conferences and seminars. We have the HSPA conference coming up in April, and these conferences are a great way for us to build up our network. A net is something that is interwoven together to hold something or to catch something. So your network are those people that are coming together and bridging together to begin to gather that opportunity or gather that thing that you're looking for, making that connection. And annual conferences or local chapter meetings are a great way to provide you the opportunity to connect with leaders in the field, discover new jobs, and stay up to date with new regulations. Engaging in online communities is another way that you can network in sterile processing, whether you're joining a Facebook group, whether you're being active in discussions on LinkedIn or Reddit threads. This can help you to access great advice as well as job postings, and you can obtain peer support from other technicians across the country. Number 3 is building internal connections in your workplace, getting to know your supervisors, your operating room staff, educators, by networking with getting on special projects or even getting recommended for leadership roles. These are things that can happen within their departments. Networking as an employee is all about opening doors. But what if you're a student just trying to get your foot in the door? Well, let's talk about how to network as a student. Networking as a student. Sterile processing students may not have experience yet, but they can still build powerful connections that will help launch their careers. When you're a student in sterile processing, it's so important to network. Networking on LinkedIn, sharing posts on Facebook to say you're a student and that you want to glean from those and how you want to reach out to those that can help you. But as a student, it's really important to network before you become an externship student. During your program, maybe asking your instructor, are there some other sterile processors that you could glean experience from? Calling different ones meeting different people on social media and begin to network with them and ask questions and find yourself a mentor. On LinkedIn, there's so many people that are willing to help you out, willing to impart knowledge, willing to impart experience, willing to tell their story, their origin story of how they got into sterile processing, their victorious story of how they've overcome challenges in school, and then their overcoming story, as they were going through the program, and their victorious story when they got to the other side. And it's so important connecting with instructors and preceptors. Your teachers, they're not just grading your work. They're also well-connected professionals, like puzzle pieces connecting together, like Legos making those connections. They definitely have so many connections that they can introduce you to and help you as you're transitioning into becoming a sterile processing technician. And remember, as Bill always says, it's got to be all in you. Remember, you are a sterile processing technician, whether you're a student, whether you're doing your externship. Always remember that. When someone asks you in the community, what do you do for a living? Tell them, I'm a sterile processing technician. You never know whether you're at a social event, whether you're at church, whether you're at a meeting, whether you're out with your family, you never know when you're going to meet someone who is a leadership role and has the opportunity to create an opportunity for you to go into the field. And then shadowing and volunteering. Even if your program doesn't require it, volunteering or asking to shadow in an SB department can introduce you to potential future employers and allow you to learn outside the classroom. Do you know one thing I'd recommend, highly recommend? This is a pro tip. This is a pro tip. Are you ready for the pro tip? Here it comes. Volunteer at the hospital if you have the time. Volunteer at the hospital. Whether you're a greeter at the front door, whether you're bringing books to the recovery room so people can, the units that are patients are recovering in long stay, whether you're visiting someone or maybe you're working as that volunteer, showing someone here or there. When you're a volunteer, you have access to the hospital. You can go on your break to the sterile processing department. You can meet up with the manager. This is a pro tip. I hope you're writing it down. This is a pro tip coming from 20 years of experience. Go to the manager. Tell them that you would like to schedule an informational interview and go there and learn about what is sterile processing. Maybe you're in school already, but you're building that relationship with the manager. You can begin to ask them, can I come back and just do a shadow in the department and do a job shadow and see what people are doing in sterile processing? You're building the connection. You're meeting people. It's a lot different than if you're trying to find a job, calling the department on the phone versus being a volunteer and you're really asking them real questions. That can help you being a volunteer in the hospital and going to the unit and meeting people, making connections. Remember, it's not always what you know, it's who you know. And as a good friend of mine would always say, it's also about who likes you. That's very important. And then joining professional organizations early. Becoming a student member of organizations like HSPA can give you access to networking events, scholarships, and early career job listings that set you apart from other applicants. So students, networking for career opportunities is one thing, but externs have a unique advantage. They're already in the department. So let's now transition into talking about externs and how they can maximize their networking. Networking as an extern. As an extern, you have hands-on experience and direct access to industry professionals. This is the perfect time to build connections that are going to lead to permanent employment. So you have hands-on experience, direct access. This is a great opportunity. You know, there's so many things that are so important about being an externship student. You know, one thing is you have to remember is you are a visitor and you are on site as a visitor. It is a privilege to be in the department. Please treat it like it's a privilege. There's times where students will come into sterile processing with the feeling like they're privileged, or then I've met those who take it like my job as an extern is to show the department why, capital U-H, why they should hire me. When I was a student, I treated my externship like a job. And I knew because, you know, my spiritual background, religious background, that faith without works is dead. And I knew that I wanted to create the best opportunity to get into the field. So I treated it like it was a job. I listened in the department. I took notes. I asked lots of questions. And I remember at the end of the day before shift report, whenever the manager would say, someone clean up, wipe down the washers, I wiped it down. When the manager or someone said, can someone fold more towels for the workstation, I folded more towels. When someone asked a question like, can someone, you know, we used to, at this time, 20 years ago, we used to pre-filter our pans, put the index card inside of the containers, make it look real organized. I would just do it. And employees would say, Bill, what are you doing? You don't have to do that. You're just a student. But I knew faith without works was dead. And I wanted to give the man upstairs something to work with. So I listened and anticipated the needs. When it was slow, I went through the peel packs to learn. I wasn't sitting down. I wasn't just waiting for someone to tell me what to do, but I would take the initiative. You know, it reminds me of a student I have. She just started organizing the cabinet, you know, and I like that initiative. She took initiative. That was great. So making a strong impression during your clinical rotations is so key. Treating every shift as a job interview. Show up on time. As Vince Cornish would say, if you are early, you're on time. And if you're on time, you're late. So show up on time, ask questions, and go the extra mile. Your professionalism and your work ethic can influence hiring decisions. Seek out a mentor in the department. Find a senior tech or supervisor who's willing to guide you. Ask about their path into sterile processing. On a break, can you share with me how you got into sterile processing? What's your origin story? Ask advice, ask questions, and express your interest in growing in the field. And then following up and staying connected. After your externship, stay in touch. Call in the department, see how they're doing. Connect on LinkedIn, send a thank you email, or check in occasionally. This keeps you on their radar for job openings. So no matter where you are in your sterile processing journey, networking is key. Now let's wrap up with some final thoughts. Networking isn't about meeting people. It's about creating relationships that support your career growth. So whether you're an employee, a student, or an extern, please take the steps to move forward with confidence. So networking isn't just about meeting people, right? It's about creating relationships. These are relationships that are going to support your career growth. Whether you're an employee, a student, an extern, let's just make sure we're taking steps that can help to move you forward. So today I want to challenge you. This is the challenge time. I challenge you this week to take one networking action. Join an online group, right? Facebook group, in LinkedIn. Introduce yourself to a new colleague or attend a professional group. Remember, if this episode resonated with you, share it with a fellow sterile processing professional who could use some networking tips. Once again, thanks for tuning in to Sterilization Station. Keep growing, keep going, keep networking, keep making a difference in sterile processing. And until next time, stay inspired, stay empowered, and always remember, sterile processing technicians are so vital, and without you, nobody in the hospital can do anything. We are the sterile blood that flows through the hospital, that touches every unit: ICU, emergency room, pulmonary, surgery, emergency room. Everyone depends on us for disposable goods as well as reprocessed instruments. Without us, nothing can happen. Although sometimes you may not get that, that thank you, or maybe someone didn't take the time to appreciate you, always remember you are appreciated. We appreciate you. Sterile Processing Week is usually in October. However, every day is Sterile Processing Day. We salute you and we say, keep going, keep growing, keep up the good work. And remember your why. Keep it in front of you. Always make it a great day. I always say good days don't fall out of the sky. As Michael E. Parker would say to us in the URCO community, good days must be created. Be a generator of your own good day. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope that you felt encouraged and inspired and empowered at the Sterilization Station, an empowerment podcast of sterile processing. May God bless you.